So sometimes, if things are really tense, you're going to need to bring out the big guns. So we're going to give you one more model to use for when you are being met at work with tension or denial or just like real conflict, and you need to tread really sort of carefully. And this is a model called HEAR, H-E-A-R. That's handy. It's developed by someone called Julie Minson from Harvard, and there seems to be some pretty good research backing up. Also, it already aligns with a lot of what we've been sharing, so hopefully it will work for you. So, the HEAR model, H-E-A-R. H is for hedge your claims. I love this one. No matter how right you think you are, you're probably at least a little bit wrong. There is always space for improvement. And when you're honest about that fact, it softens the intensity of certainty and creates space for discussion. So if you're in a conflict with someone, instead of saying, do I say I'm right? It's simply saying, hedging means saying something like, I'm probably missing something, but it seems to me that, or I can get this wrong sometimes, but I wonder if. What that's doing is creating just a very different kind of interaction, because you're not coming at with that imposition, you're coming at it with a vulnerability, and it's the kind of subtlety that sends information that you're open to that person, that you're not a dictator. E is for emphasize agreement. So this is very similar to that earlier point about all being on the same team. You've got to work hard to find the spaces where you agree. Doing this makes it much harder for people to paint you as the enemy, because you're finding that commonality, and makes it easier for people to connect with you. So when you're having a difficult conversation, find those common goals, or just find something in what they're saying that you agree with. Because also, when we're agreed with, we like people more. That's how sort of egotistical we are. We feel softer, we feel safer, so it opens up those better conversations. A, acknowledge your opponent's perspective. Everybody comes at the world from different angles, and they see different things and they understand different things, and sometimes we're really bad at seeing that, particularly when we're in conflict. But really working to get into someone else's perspective is a fantastic way of A, making space for you to understand them and have a more productive conversation, but B, for them to feel seen and understood and more likely to open up to you. It's a really important thing to do that increases everyone's understanding and the productivity of the difficult conversations. R, reframe positively. So it's pretty remarkable how reframing things in this positive way can change the way we physically feel about it. Sort of very famous example of the comparison between someone saying, this procedure has a 10% failure rate versus this procedure has a 90% success rate. And there's lots of research to say that we're way more likely to go for that procedure framed with the success lens, right? That positive framing feels so different, changes the way we think and feel about that issue. If you can bring this into your conflict, you're going to have more positive responses. It's not that easy, because in those kind of tense situations, we need to be really careful about being disingenuous, right? So if you've got a horrible kind of conflict going on and you're like, yeah, I'm really grateful for this learning opportunity, that's not going to land. So we need to be really honest and authentic with this, framing something like that in the lens of, I know this is difficult, but I am glad it's out in the open, and I do think that maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere and get somewhere useful. That feels both honest, but also hopeful. And that's the key thing, right? You're providing that opportunity for collaboration in that reframing. So these reframes are really helpful for us to think differently about the conflict, but also invite other people to do the same. This process is called HEAR because throughout all of this, the important thing is not just what you say, but that you are actually listening to what someone is saying to you as well. You've expressed yourself carefully, allow that other person to that space to express themselves, and think about how yours and their perspective can be integrated. That is at the heart of healthy communication, especially around those difficult conversations. Have a think about how you might use each aspect of HEAR with someone who you're currently having a disagreement with or in a conflict with. And that could be professionally, but it could also be personally as well. It works in both of those spaces.